Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for clicking on 5 News Web News. It is Monday, February 18th. I'm Brittany Hoke.
And I'm Matt Heckel, and here are some of the top stories we've been following today here on 5 News. 2 people had to be taken to the hospital after a fire in Morgantown this morning.
That's right. Now, it also shut down 2 roads in the area for a while this morning, just before 6 o'clock. Crews were called to an apparent building on Buckwild Avenue. That's in Morgantown. Luckily, or rather, no word at this time on how exactly that fire started, but we are told that people were inside at the time. 2 people had to be taken to the hospital, but they only suffered minor injuries. The building is not being considered a total loss, though the fire did about estimated $125,000 worth of damage. The fire forced crews to shut down part of Buckwild Avenue and the Walnut Street Bridge as they tried to put that fire out. The fire is not being called suspicious, but the Morgantown City Fire Marshal will be on scene later today to investigate. One person was also apparently taken into custody at the scene. 23-year-old Derek Blankenship was charged with public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and obstructing an officer. Be sure to stay with 5 News for the latest. And Friday morning, a gas well worker was killed after an explosion at a site in Taylor County. We now know the name of that man. Officials with Central Environmental Services say that Brian Hopkins was near 2 tanks when the explosion happened. The State Department of Environmental Protection said the worker was attempting to transfer brine wastewater from a tank into a truck. Officials say that Hopkins hadn't started transferring water when the explosion happened, and the transfer is a routine activity that the company's employees do every day. CES is cooperating with state and federal investigators. The company is also conducting an internal investigation. An EQT spokesperson said that the accident was not related to drilling.
Well, a rollover accident in Marion County sent 2 people to the hospital this weekend. It happened just after noon yesterday on Freedom Highway near Worthington. 911 officials tell us that only 1 vehicle was involved. We're not sure how serious the injuries were, but we do know HealthNet had to be called to the scene, but they were not able to fly because of bad weather. So both people were instead taken to Ruby Memorial Hospital by ambulance. The Marion County Sheriff's Department is investigating. And WVU students paid tribute to a fellow student who was killed in an accident on I-79 in Pennsylvania last week. Friday night, family members, along with students and members of the Greek community, got together for a candlelight vigil. 20-year-old Sarah Graham of Frederick, Maryland was killed in Washington County, Pennsylvania Wednesday after she lost control of her car and hit a guardrail. A tractor trailer then hit her vehicle. Graham was a member of the Delta Gamma sorority, and according to WVU's website, she was a marketing major there. Hundreds showed up to give support for her family and friends.
And it is the 2nd arrest in less than a week for the cast of Buckwild. According to Metro News, Michael Douglas Burford is facing aggravated DUI charges. He is now free on bond after he was booked at the South Central Regional Jail Friday night. Burford, known on the show as Bluefoot, was the 2nd member of the Buckwild cast to be arrested in less than a week. Last Sunday, 24-year-old Sawa Amin was arrested on charges of possession with intent to distribute heroin and oxycodone in Nicholas County.
South African sprinter Oscar Pistorius has canceled his upcoming races. An attorney for the double amputee track star says his client is focused solely on his defense. Pistorius is charged with murdering his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. Police say she was shot in Pistorius' home on Valentine's Day.
And the White House is doing damage control after a version of its immigration reform bill became public this weekend. USA Today put up the draft of the bill online Saturday, and Republicans responded pretty quickly. Florida Senator Marco Rubio said that the measure would be dead on arrival if it's sent to Congress as is. He says that it doesn't do enough to beef up border security. White House Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough told Face the Nation on Sunday that nothing has been sent to Congress, and the president prefers to work with senators on the legislation that they are drafting on Capitol Hill.
And let's take a quick look at what our newsroom's working on for tonight. First up, we're going to have the latest on the apartment fire this morning that ended up shutting 2 area roads down for hours.
We're also going to get local business reaction to the possibility of a rise in minimum wage. And of course, Chief Meteorologist Ken Meehan has a look at your first alert forecast. That's tonight on First at 5 and 5 News at 6.
And that's what's making news today. Be sure to join us again on First at 5 and 5 News at 6. And until then,
have a great day, everybody.